For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check out g2a.com, and if you need any Ultimate Team coins, then head over to FIFA. The code CHES will get you a discount on both sites, and all links are down below. Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again, and welcome to episode number 10 of the Career Mode Road to Glory here on FIFA 15. We start with an away game against Burton Albion, a side that actually sit above us in the league. I think as we went into this one, they were top, and we were third, question mark, I think second or third, after yesterday's good form. Of course, if you missed yesterday's episode, there will be a link to it in the bottom left hand side of your screen to take you there. Of course, feel free to check the channel page for anything you may have missed over the past few days, including the rather important vote earlier on this afternoon. Definitely check that video out if you missed it. Really need your feedback on that, and actually the vote for that episode is going to end in the next hour or so as you see this when it goes live at 8 PM, so definitely check that and have your say before the time runs out. But anyway, cracking on with this one, we're hoping to get a good result against a side that are up and about us in the league, and obviously to get a bit more of an advantage ahead of them would be beneficial to us in the long term. But we are away from home against one of the better sides in the league, and we are so close to a penalty there. It's literally almost on the line, which should be a penalty, but as you can see, it's like 2 inches outside the box, so there's no way I'm going to get it up and down around the wall with players that only have like 60 free kick accuracy. So I tried the free kick technique by laying it off. Unfortunately, the left back Luke Garbutt's shot was deflected and went out for a corner, with which nothing came from. But Kwesi Apaya's got the pace to get around the outside the fence. He's through 1-on-1, does have a 4-star weak foot, but unfortunately that 64 finishing shows its ugly head there. Had he been, you know, maybe 70 finishing upwards, he might have been able to put that into the back of the net, but unfortunately with a League 2 standard player, we're not able to finish those sort of efforts, at least not right now. But that was a shot that could have absolutely rattled the back of the net with a really powerful effort that was swerving away from the goalkeeper, and actually keepers did really well to get up to it to stop it from going into the back of the net. But as you've been able to see, we had the best chances of the game in the first half and the start of the second, but Burton grew into it in the second half as my players started to tire. They started to have more and more chances. They had that one there, and then Stuart Bevan is racing away down the left hand side. He's going to get a good cross in here and stands up to the near post when McGurk rifles in a really good header in off the post to give Burton a 1-0 lead with 10 minutes to go. Now, the Pirelli Stadium isn't the easiest of places to go at the best of times, especially when you go 1-0 down with 10 minutes left, and actually that was how the game was going to end. So unfortunately we lose our third game of the series to date. I think that's the third game we've lost so far in League 2, but we will stay up and about in those playoff / promotion places, and maybe even higher should we be able to get a win in the third game, which will be back in the league. But the second game is in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. If you remember, we knocked out Barnsley, a League 1 side, in the first round of this competition, so we know we can do well against League 1 sides, and we're coming up against another here in the shape of Fleetwood Town, away from home again, which won't be easy. Now, they're obviously a very strong side, although they're not as strong as they were a couple of years ago when they had Jamie Vardy in their ranks. Of course, Jamie Vardy now at Leicester City in the Barclays Premier League, but he was instrumental in getting Fleetwood to where they are right now. He was their top goal scorer when they were in the conference. I remember going away to Fleetwood with Cambridge in the hail and the rain to watch us lose 1-0 up in Lancashire, so that was fantastic. Really enjoyed that away trip. But still, you know, they did really well to get themselves out of that league and out of League 2 as well, up into League 1, where the money kind of ran out, but they've been able to keep themselves afloat and keep their position in the league by selling on their better talents like Jamie Vardy, etc., to the likes of Leicester City in the higher reaches of the game in England. But we're on top, as you can see in the opening stages, trying to get ourselves through to the next round, and we could do with the prize money from doing so, because of course we do need some extra funds to bring in players in January if we can raise them, and of course getting through in this competition would help with that. And we are 1-0 up there, as you saw, with the header from Robbie Simpson, and actually we're going to come close to going 2-0 up here through the same means. Across with the Robbie Simpson header, leaves a great save actually from the goalkeeper to keep us at 1-0. We're on that hour mark now though. Fleetwood pressing forward, trying to get themselves back into it. Hughes tearing me apart actually. Good cross, well saved by Dunn though, but only as far as another one of their strikers who heads it across goal rather than shooting, which was strange, but in the end it did work because he headed it across to a teammate who headed it again into an empty net. So on the hour mark we're back at 1-1. So made 2 changes. Brought in Liam Hughes for Luke Chadwick and Robbie Simpson for Tom Elliott rather for the goal scorer Robbie Simpson. Elliott of course our highest goal scorer this year. Kwesi Apaya actually lacking so far in goals, but hoping he'll be able to hit some form, and most importantly hit some form right now. The shot though is saved, but it falls to Rico Ring. Oh, and you know when you press the change player button to then try and score the open goal, and the change player button is also the same as the chip shot button, which is rather unfortunate in that particular scenario because it means I chip the ball over an empty net and we stay at 1-1. But Jack Grealish is clean through here, 83rd minute, racing away, tries to finesse it into the bottom corner, and an incredible reaction save from Lucas, the goalkeeper, means that we stay at 1-1 and only get a corner from our effort there. The reactions just there, that is so good. Such quick reactions to give them the chance to stay in the game at 1-1. But the corner comes in. Liam Hughes, the substitute, puts us 2-1 in front in the 85th minute with a fantastic header back across goal. Nothing Lucas could do about that one. The fans in the corner go nuts, and we are through to the third round of the Johnson's Paint Trophy, again knocking out League One opposition in this competition. Delighted to do so, and we actually got a little bit of a boost to our finances from that as well, although I think it was only like £4,000 into our transfer budget, which transferred into the wage budget as about an extra £80 per week. But that could be the difference between getting someone and not getting someone, so I'm not really going to complain too much, and any extra money is of course welcome. So we head into the third game of the episode against local rivals at Northampton Town. We played a local team yesterday in the shape of Stevenage and came away with the most retarded own goal of all time and a 4-0 win. So if we could replicate that in this game, I'd be delighted, although of course Northampton will give us a tough test. They're playing with Nichols and Mark Richards up top. Mark Richards is a really experienced striker, of course, in his early 30s now, I think. And they're playing a similar formation to us, so I was hoping they weren't going to cancel each other out. But Northampton were on the attack in the opening stages. Had to play a little bit of a rotation side thanks to the midweek game against Fleetwood, but it was still a pretty strong game, strong team to play against them. And Richards came close there with the opening effort, but Simpson plays a great ball between the centre-back and the wing-back there to get Harrison Duncan, who's going to whip the cross in. Tom Elliott with a header, scored plenty of headers for us this year, but unfortunately this time couldn't quite get his shot on target, and we stayed at 0-0, but we were continuing to come forward though for the rest of the half. Riku Ring again playing the same ball between centre-back and right-back. Seems to be a rather fruitful area of attack for us. Harrison Duncan has been rather influential. We seem to always tend to go with the attacks down the left-hand side, weirdly, but Robbie Simpson, great first touch and an even better finish to give us a 1-0 lead in the 44th minute, just before half-time. No better way to go in at the break than with a really good finish, actually, bending away from the goalkeeper, out of his reach, into the bottom corner, and it's Cambridge 1, Northampton 0 as we headed towards half-time. Still weren't done for the first half, though, as you can see in stoppage time. O'Toole feeds Richards, who feeds the ball across to Nichols, going to get a luck of the draw actually with the way that ball deflects back to him, but a top save from Chris Dunn means that we stay at 1-0 before we go into half-time. Really good save actually, not the most orthodox of saves, as you'll see. He goes to hit it with two hands and actually hits kind of just below his wrists and rebounds out over the bar, but it rebounded up and not down, fortunately, and went over the top of the bar. So we stayed at 1-0 into the second half. Nichols in the box, so good shot, almost finding that far top corner. Kind of tried to drill it quite high, but get it over the keeper and back down into the far side of the net. Didn't quite work, but they got a free kick here in the 71st minute. We're going to whip that into the box. He's going to find a Northampton head, and it's Nichols actually with the header, and this time he does find the back of the net. A textbook training ground free kick to bring Northampton back into the game, and there wasn't much really I could do about that. It was just a fantastically executed set piece, and that gave them the equaliser. We're trying to get ourselves back in front before the end of the game though. Ryan Donaldson on the ball is going to do a nice little ball roll and then a step inside. Good shot, aiming for that bottom corner but can't quite find it. Sadly, that was how the game was going to end then at 1-1. So we do take a point from it. Pleased not to have lost, but again, quite frustrated not to have won, but we got the most important victory, which was of course the one in the Johnson's Paint Trophy to continue our run in the Cup. And we are still fourth in the league. Burton have gone top thanks to the 3 points they got off of us, and Northampton stay in the playoff places with us and continue to be 3 points behind down there in 7th, but we're only 2 points away from the promotion spots and 3 points away from 2nd. So pleased with how things are going so far in the league. We are just over a quarter of the way through, I think now, thankfully. So we're getting on quite well. If we could maintain our league position from here until the end of the season, I'd be delighted. Although, of course, an automatic promotion spot would be favourable, but you know, playoffs can't be a bad thing for a side that have just come up out of the conference. But that is going to bring today's episode to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, as always, feel free to leave the video a like if you could do so. That'd be absolutely superb. And let me know in the comment section how you're finding this series to date. And like I say, do check the channel page for that Chelsea vote that was up earlier on this afternoon. I do need your feedback on that. But that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Like, sub, comment, and I will see you next time.